Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason and I am with the RX350, all new redesigned here for the 5th generation here in 2023. Thanks to Hoffman Lexus for letting me take this one out. As always, I'm going to talk about interior, exterior options, features, and I'm going to tell you what it's like to drive. So let's go ahead and take a look. The redesigned 2023 Radiant crossover, the Lexus RX, comes in a number of slick looking colors, including this absolutely gorgeous Nightfall Metallic. While the RX remains the same overall length as before, the wheelbase is a little bit more than 2 inches longer at 112 inches to help make a smooth ride even smoother. It comes standard on 19s with all seasons, or if you opt for the F Sport, you'll get the aggressive 21s with sticky Michelin Pilot Sport tires. Side view mirrors are heated auto dimming, power folding, and tilt and reverse no matter what trim level. Power moonroof with rails are optional on lower trims, but standard here on this luxury trim. A new front grille contributes to a sophisticated look and offers lots of cooling for the new turbocharged engine and for the brakes. Bi-LED headlights are standard, but this one has the upgraded triple LEDs. Around back, we've got a new centered Lexus badge flanked by LED taillights, and this one has the kick to open power liftgate option, which opens up into a spacious 30 cubic foot cargo area, and there's a 40-20-40 split on the back seats if you want a little extra room for stuff. Inside the RX, even the backseat passengers can ride in luxury with optional power reclining, heat, and ventilation. This is actually the first time I've ever been in anything with ventilated rear seats. 37 inches of legroom back here as well. These seats are the semi-aniline leather trimmed seats, and they are super comfortable. Perforated leather or new look synthetic leather on the other trims. The front seats are offered in 8-way power adjustable or 10-way with 4-way power lumbar support. And this one has the 10-way seats, and that applies to both the driver and the passenger seat. Both are also heated and ventilated, and that is standard on all but the base trim. This one also has the heated wood and leather steering wheel, which is extremely comfortable and classy looking. The wheel also has these interesting haptic pads for controlling the heads-up display and the infotainment. Not sure how I feel about how sensitive these pads are. I'd rather have physical push, scroll, or switch inputs, but they are out of the way, so they're still tough to hit accidentally. Infotainment is either a 9.8 inch screen or this massive 19 incher tilted toward the driver. Clean, clear, this is the same system we saw in the NX for the 2022 model year, with a focus on voice control and ease of use while driving. I do wish some of these HVAC controls weren't inside the touchscreen, but at least they're always available. Temperature is still a set of knobs with multi-zone standard and an air filter standard as well. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are both wireless, as is charging as long as you're not in the bass trim. Music comes through a 12 speaker system, or we have the 21 speaker Levinson surround sound system optioned for the audio files. Above the wheel is a clear and simple digital gauge cluster, and a full 10-inch heads-up display with tons of information lives at the bottom of the windshield in the luxury trim and above. Around the cabin, we have the black wood and ash, and man is it nice in here. Everything looks and feels like quality and comfort, from the doors to the seats to the dash to the wheel. So one of the first big changes we have here is instead of that naturally aspirated 6-cylinder we had before, we have a turbocharged 4-cylinder now. So what that's going to do is it's going to give you more of your torque available down low in your rev range. When you hit the gas, you're going to feel that earlier on. And it's making 275 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque. And this thing can move if you want it to. Obviously, it is more of a luxury sort of comfort type car, but it's nice to know that that power is available when you need it. Certainly no problem getting up to speed on the highway, merging, passing, no issues there. We also have the option of either a front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive version. This one here is the front-wheel drive, but But if you decide that you want the gas-powered one with an all-wheel drive system, then instead of doing the typical sort of front-wheel drive most of the time, back wheels when you need them, it's actually an all-time all-wheel drive system. It'll be a 25%, 75% split most of the time. It'll sort of go between that and 50-50 as needed. Or if you decide that you want to opt for the hybrid, since there are a few hybrid options here, it's going to be like the UX and the Venza videos that I've done, so if you want, check those out. But basically you have a separate electric motor for the front axle and for the rear axle. This has also updated the suspension. They've updated the front suspension. The rear suspension is all new and it is very comfortable. This ride is so nice. I remember in the last generation you could tell that there was sort of a big jump between driving the ES350 and the RX350, just because usually when you go up into an SUV you lose a little bit of that ride quality, but here they've actually gotten the ride quality a lot better, and it's more on par with a smaller sedan, which is really pretty cool thing. It is super comfortable and floaty and very nice. They've also updated the safety systems, and so we have the Lexus 3.0 safety system in this one. We had a bunch of safety features before in the RX. They've just added on to that. So we've still got blind spot monitoring, we've got the lane departure, we've got rear cross traffic alert. You can option all kinds of cameras. Really, you know, it's not lacking for safety features at all, but they've also added traffic jam assist, which I've shown in a couple of my other videos. But what that does is basically when you are stuck in traffic, you can put on your cruise control essentially, and it'll do the stop and go for you. You don't even have to worry about the pedal. You don't have to worry about the steering either. We also have this lane centering assist with the radar cruise that works really well. It'll keep you in your lane. It does the turning very well. It'll modulate your speed, and you can set your distance, your following distance as well. It's a very good system, but at the same time it doesn't just mean that you can sort of nod off and pay attention to other things. It is making sure that you're paying attention. It has facial detection. It has detection for when your hands are off the steering wheel to make sure that you are still paying attention, which is a great feature. I love that it has that. Throughout the cabin, I have noticed a lot of changes as well. You know, as always, we have really nice quality materials. I really like these suedes, and I like that it's got this sort of ash in the steering wheel. The steering wheel is going to be a little bit different if you get one of the F Sports, but this one is a very nice, very comfortable steering wheel, and it's leather wrapped. Buttons are easy to use, multi-function buttons, and actually from the steering wheel I can control what's in the heads-up display. This heads-up display is completely redesigned as well. This is one of the better heads-up displays I've seen, if not the best, because there's a lot of information in it. It's full color, but it remains easy to see and easy to use. Some heads-up displays are either a little bit blurry, or there's like too much information. The Mercedes that I was in, there was just way too much information. It was too cluttered. In this one here, there's so much information, but yet it's still easy to decipher what's what. It's laid out very well. Your speed limit, your cruise control, how your following distance, your lane centering. You can actually customize what shows up there as well when you use these little touchpad buttons here on the steering wheel. You can actually go through a bunch of different menus via your heads-up display, which is really cool, so you don't have to even look down here. You're always looking up, you're always looking at the road. There's something that Lexus was focused on here. They really wanted things to be sort of driver focused in a way where you don't have to take your eyes off the road anymore. You know, the seating position is comfortable and upright. I have great visibility all around. I'm always looking forward. If I want to look at some of my information, I'm looking at the heads-up display. If I want to change something here, looking at the heads-up display. If I want to change something in this infotainment screen, which is huge and it's tilted towards me, I can easily touch because all the buttons are very big and because it's angled at me. Or they have the new system where you just say, "Hey Lexus," and it will detect which seat you're coming from, and it will actually be able to perform your command based on whether the driver or the passenger is saying that command. So like if you wanted to update your climate and you're the passenger, then it knows that the passenger is the one saying that. It's the same system that they just redesigned and put in the NX for last year. Very good system. The only issue, if I'm gonna nitpick here, is I wish that heat is still a knob, but the fan and the seats and the heated seats and cooled seats are all through the infotainment, but they are always available. So even if you are changing through your menus, they're still available at the bottom. So at least they did leave those in there, so easily accessible still. As for the steering, it is very light, it's very easy. I like the wheel. The wheel has a little bit of girth to it, which is nice and comfortable. The steering is easy, it's light, it's very responsive at the same time. Well, this isn't exactly a performance car. I know I mentioned that it does have some good power to it. Now, with this also being on the new Global Architecture K platform, they were able to actually lighten the car a little bit and lower the center of gravity a little bit with some stronger materials. It's got a more rigid chassis as well, and it makes it a little bit more nimble than it was before. You know, it's obviously it's not a performance car. We're not going to be going super hard through the corners, but it does make it handle even better than it did before. The RX was certainly due for an upgrade, and with the update, Lexus did what Lexus does best: comfort, quality, and class. This steering wheel heats up very nicely. It's very comfortable. I really like this steering wheel a lot. It's beefy, it's comfortable, nice materials.